We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. On three. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. For roll call, all committee members are present. So to jump into things, as people walked in, I feel this is kind of what heaven's going to be like, where you just see old friends just keep coming through the door. I often don't present to large group of people that aren't mad at me. So this is a great start, and I just want to thank you all for being here. Whether you have kids in the district, whether you have grandkids in the district, whether you're expecting grandkids in the district at someday. What you're doing and helping us look and cast a vision for what we want to do with Crook County School District facilities is so important. And this is the first meeting of kind of setting that foundation of the direction that we want to take our district for facilities so that we can do awesome things for all our students, our grandkids, our kids, and just improve our community. So thank you guys so much for being here. We're trying to make this as interactive and as engaging as possible. So you're going to start right off the bat with, we want your input. We don't have the perspective that you all have, whether it's from coaching or whether it's from teaching in a classroom or Doug Smith knowing every inch of this district. We want to start by getting your voice, and you've got these QR codes. And so what we'll start off with, if you have your phone, if you just hold it over the QR code, go there. We want to get right off the bat from the start, what are 3 to 5 of your facility improvement ideas? So what would you like to see? Scan this. And that'll take you and they'll jump up on our screen. It gets a little harder when I just take it. Okay. That's So just put in one at a time, 3 to 5 things. What do you believe are your top priorities? And as you put them in, they'll pop up on the screen. We've got more gym space.
Wonder who put that in.
Crazy. Lights on a soccer field, a new middle school.
Have some users that cannot get into it.
I'm not doing it. No. It might be if you're on the desk Wi-Fi.
Probably.
And then we have scratch paper where you're having trouble, you can just make sure it's just on the. Looks like gym space is getting big. New stadium.
Yeah, just confirm it and then try to just do it from. And something on.
You can't get that. We got a press box renovation. New boilers. See some CTE, some parking. Proper maintenance fund. It looks like we've got some maintenance employees in here. That's fun. Parking, football. And feel free to add if you have more than 3 to 5, feel free to keep adding. If there's a specific site, like you're like, hey, Crooked River needs a new roof, just make sure to put the location with that. Roof repairs. Oh. Seeing air conditioning, must be some elementary teachers in here. Or that next school. We'll do about 1 more minute. Add anything else that you'd like to get on our list. All right, about 30 more seconds. All right. Says 3 people are still typing. You typing. Almost there. Russ is getting his last text in.
Or email.
All right, so here's the plan. What we're gonna do is, Eric's gonna use, one of our AI systems to then filter this. We'll get a big list and then we'll work to prioritize this a little bit later. So what we wanna do real quickly, we have a ton of people, let people know who's in the room. So we'll just start on this. And if you could just say who you are, what you do, and if you've got kids in the district or grandkids, that would be awesome. Christy, can you start us off?
Of course. Christy Jackson, Special Education, Barnesfield Elementary.
Leland Bliss, Director of Operations, Cook County School District.
Marcus Hayes, middle school principal. I have 2 in the district.
Adam Stefanik, assistant principal here at the middle school. Jake Helpman, high school principal. I have 4 kids in the district.
Russ Wood, I'm fire marshal, almost 2 kids.
Wayne?
Wait, yeah, retired.
Again.
Again.
Hamilton, retired citizen.
Rob Bonner, athletic director, Cook County High School. No kids, 2 graduates, and kids, 1 there.
Awesome. Marcus?
Marcus Burdick, father of 2 kids here in Cook County, one at River Elementary, one at the middle school, do some coaching in town.
It's awesome.
Ryan Cochran, CTE director, also coach, have 2 kids.
Lynn Pepper, retired teacher from, 2 kids graduated from here and 1 grandson.
Awesome.
Frank Durham, courier for the district and any other things. 1 kid graduated and 1 kid I.
Kevin Bradley, school board member, grandfather of 1 student in River and retired.
Renee Tooley, I'm a photographer and I have 2 kids in the district.
Doug Smith, retired, 3 kids that graduated from Cook County, 2 grandkids in the school district, and I spent a little while on the school.
Here we go. Don?
Don Hammond, school district facilities maintenance.
All members, facilities manager, Cook County School District, one of the keepers of buildings.
Christy, you want to start us?
Christy Stever, longtime school supporter, 2 graduates, and study.
Jennifer Knight, 3 graduates and, former education assistant and board member.
Rocky Minor, retired educator here. Actually had my youngest daughter graduated in high school and I've got 2 granddaughters. Orange View.
Darren Montevino, architect and consultant.
Sean Purcell, parent, 3 kids in the school district, all at GNH.
Steve Waring, I'm the executive director for the Parks and Recreation District, and hopefully one day I'll have grandkids in the school district. Not yet, though. 10 years down the road.
Tammy?
Tammy Parker, I'm the executive assistant and no kids in the district. Heidi Slaba, architect consultant on the Long Range facility. Anna Logan, chief financial officer, 2 graduates.
Eric Ryan, director of technology, 2 boys at Crooked River.
I'm Joel Hoff. I think this is my 14th year with the district. I've got 3 kids, a middle schooler and 2 elementary. So, when we sat down to figure out who do we want in this room, who do we need? It's so awesome that you guys represent such a cross section of our community, with your students, your grandkids, and we're just so grateful you're all here. So what we're trying to do today, we got 2 outcomes. And some of you have been through the long range facilities process before. So this might be familiar. So we have to complete some retired tasks for the ODE in order to get a $6 million matching grant. So to do that, we have to do what's called a long-range facilities plan. And there are certain criteria that we have to hit, and that's why our friend, the whole architects are here. So there are some required tasks that we have to cover. And then outside of that, that's task one. Task two is we want to start visioning and planning for what a potential bond plan could look like. So we want to start gathering that input, and those two things usually run side by side. So that's what we'll be doing. We'll kind of be doing cutting off or taking care of some requirements and also doing some visioning and some planning. So in a second here, my dear friend Logan is going to give an overview of what a long-range facilities plan is and then how that coincides with the bond. From there, Cole Architects, they've done a facility assessment of every single one of the district's buildings, and they'll give a brief 2-minute overview of each building, what it needs, what that would cost, and go into detail so that way you're informed. From there, Leland Bliss, who like Doug Smith knows every inch of Kirk County School District, will say, and here's what we really need. We've got Leland's, I think, top 15 list, top 8, we got it down to 8. What are the top 8 things we have to do? Otherwise things are gonna start falling apart. And then we'll just get in a group. We'll have that list of what everyone's priorities are, and we'll try to start narrowing down on what are some common things that we can start looking to move forward. And then we'll have some closures next steps. There is, if you've never been to Kirk County, there is an optional middle school tour that Leland will give. If you've never seen the boiler room, it's actually really interesting. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to Anna Logan to give you some details.
So I want to talk to you about 2 different plans that we need to work on as a group. So the first is a long-range facilities plan that is built really for the purpose of allowing us to qualify for a grant that could be up to $6 million. That plan is defined by Oregon Department of Education and gives us, this is the, and you hear us say awesome grant. This is the abbreviation for awesome grant. It's Oregon School something. But basically, it doesn't mean awesome like it's really cool. That's the awesome grant that we're trying to apply for. And that awesome grant has very specific rules about what a long-range facility plan looks like. This is what Cole Architects is going to be helping us with, or has been helping us with. There are things in this plan that maybe don't make sense from a practical standpoint. As far as what do we really need in our district? What does our community really care about? So we can take this as kind of a starting point, and then we move over to potentially a bond plan, an actual real plan that we will use to take to our school board. The school board has to approve both. But this is the one that we would take to the school board and recommend to them that we want to take a bond forward. And I'll explain that in the next slide. This group could end after our multiple meetings and say, we don't even want to do this. We don't think we could do a bond right now. Or we could say, we do want to go out for a bond, and here are the things that we want to put in this bond. And that's really the most important piece, I think, of what this group does. Because once we go to that point where we put a bond on a ballot, we as employees cannot advocate for that anymore. We have to have people from the community to either create a PAC or do something to help us to get the bond passed. And we have to have, it makes sense for us to have those people involved in the building of that list so that you all can support it. So that's kind of the idea. There's 2 different timelines for these things. So what we're thinking is that this long-range facilities plan, we would recommend to the board and ask them to approve it in about April. So we'll have meetings from now until then, take this board to them, take this plan to the board. Once they've approved it, then we've got about 5 years of time that we can go out for a bond. If we have a passing bond, then we can have the matching money. This might take a little bit longer. Last time we did this, our notes say it took us 10 months. So there's a lot of thought, a lot of exploration and different things that go into this, whereas this plan is really based on data, inputs and outputs. This is more based on vision and reality, community, collaboration. So this is my next slide, which is just like my last, different words on it. So I just want to make sure that everybody understands what we mean by bond. When people say bond, they often mean different things. So we would have, if we were to go forward with a bond, we would pick an election date. That could be November of 2027 or May of 2026. That's too soon, but it could. You would pick probably a November or a May election, and there'd be a ballot for that election. On that ballot, there would be a measure, meaning just a sentence or words, where people can actually vote yes or no. The reason the voters have to vote is because they're actually voting to raise taxes. It's a temporary property tax that is for the purpose of that bond. So through the process that we will go through to create a bond plan, we'll have to do a lot of estimates, estimating how much everything costs that we want to do. How much of a tax impact will that be? How much of a tax impact will the community be open to? What will the data centers do to our estimates? All these different things. How much money can we raise, et cetera. And then, so we'll use that to estimate we'll estimate our tax impact, and then we'll have our detailed plan for what we're gonna pay. We will have this plan for what projects we're gonna pay for in that plan. We probably won't take the detailed plan for every single line item to the community because that's too much for them to digest, but it would have big summary items that we would be doing in that bond plan. The actual bond, so the bond measure is all about the election and whether we can go forward or not. The actual bond is a financial instrument. It's something we sell. It's basically like a mortgage. So we go out to a financial market, and we offer to investors the opportunity to purchase bonds. They give us money through an intermediary, and then we owe that money back to them over time, usually about 30 years. And so we get the money. It all comes into us. Sometimes we get a little extra depending on how the market works. There's a premium on the bond. Sometimes there's a discount on the bond. We get a little bit less than what we issued. It just depends on your credit rating and the investment market and things like that. So we get this big chunk of money, we put it in a special bank account, and then at that point, we move forward with doing all the projects. So that's kind of the link that we did. So, okay, good.
So in order to, as we start kind of looking at both those processes, a long range facility plan as well as a bond, we need to work with architects to say, what do our schools really need? So we hire experts to come in and they do what's called a facilities assessment. And they look at all our buildings and put a dollar figure on what actually we need to do. So then we know what sort of improvements we need to put in that plan as well as a potential bond process. So with that, we have Heidi Slabaugh from Cole Architects, and they have, they'll have slides up here and they have a detailed packet as well. They'll just quickly go through each of our facilities and what is needed. So, and we'll have extra packets as well for you guys to take home if you need them. So Heidi,
Okay,
with that, I'm gonna turn it over.
with
to
that,
you
thank you.
and press that one and hang it over there.
Here's one more. Whoever. Back table. Okay. We thought you'd all squeeze into all the tables up front over here.
So real quick, the first step of the process was doing a facility assessment of all the facilities. And through that process, there's a technical term called an FCI, a Facility Condition Assessment Index. And it's looking at the cost to do all the listed repairs. So our team came out with engineers, electrical, plumbing, structural, civil engineers, and we looked at it was a visual observation assessment of the building. We weren't actually testing mechanical systems or electrical systems. We were getting input from the facilities department on how things actually worked behind the scenes. And we have like this 20-page spreadsheet that we fill out with all the information. It comes down to a repair cost. So every improvement from the roof all the way through the foundation, we list out every replacement, repair, or other improvement. And it can be 5% of the flooring in this room needs to be replaced. 100% of the lights in this room need to be replaced. So we're looking at everything in every room. You divide that by what is the cost to replace, for instance, this school, just as it is, not looking at portables or anything else in a like replacement cost, and it comes up with a number. So as I go through these slides of each school and kind of the big picture, you'll see this FCI number. Green, dark green, they're not color coded in the packets on the slides, that would have been helpful. So less than 10%, excellent. Barnes Butte, Pioneer High School, still in excellent condition. Gosh, I hope so. We get down to above 60, they're deficient. There might be beyond repair, the costs of repair start outweighing the cost of replacement. So going through real quick, I don't have a lot to share for Barnes Butte because it is 10 years old already, which is amazing. It's got an FCI of 1.3. It's still in really good condition. There's some regular maintenance that needs to happen. We also look at enrollment and design capacity, and we'll kind of give a recap at the end of this. But if you look at these numbers, there's still plenty of room in this school, theoretically, for students, depending, of course, on how many students the district likes to ideally have in each classroom. They vary, schools vary, plus you get into this school, right, classrooms are smaller. Barnes Butte is what we kind of use as our statewide standard of educational adequacy of what the state thinks this is ideal for every school. And so we're kind of comparing every other school to this, if that's a clear explanation. On the flip side, Crooked River Elementary School, we're 65 years old already. It's had numerous additions. We've needed new roof, air handlers, big ticket items at this school. FCI is 67. Who remembers what happens after 60? Kind of in that deficient area. Oh, some of you might have gone into Crooked River Elementary, might agree with that. Capacity wise, I think we're still okay, right? We don't have that many portables. Do we have any portables there? I didn't have the one. Oh, you have one now? How about Crook County Middle School? 49%? Does that resonate, right? So I'm throwing out the numbers that we came up with through our assessment. And through this process, Joel and Anna and everybody will start asking, does that feel right? Are you guys in agreement, right? We're not looking behind the scenes. We're doing a physical observation assessment of these buildings. Enrollment this year, 669, design capacity 680. So maybe we have room, but we also have 4 portables. Three, right? 3 portables here. So that doesn't account for the fact that there are students in those portables. Is this making sense? Am I doing this okay for you guys? Okay. How about the high school? Already almost 30 years old, which is again crazy to me. So 835 is the enrollment this year. Design capacity, and we do design capacity, that's our calculation on what the size of this room, how many students are by the state supposed to be able to have enough room in that space. So that's design capacity from the architectural standpoint of a calculation of space. Portables, well, we're already 100 students over capacity. So maybe we have too many students in each classroom. Plus there's some significant items, but not huge items, right? Regular maintenance items at this school. Pioneer High School, I don't need to spend any time on this one. It's new, it's still in excellent condition. Got plenty of capacity. Then we get into the Steens Pillar Complex. You guys might know them as the Pioneer Complex. And we're seeing a different picture, right? They're 89 to 90 years old. They are pretty much at capacity, hence all the portables out there, and pretty significant improvements, not just aesthetic improvements, but structural improvements as far as roof framing, and you've seen kind of the condition of the outside. Regular maintenance going on, yes, finishes were upgraded, they look really nice, but behind the scenes, there's some significant items that need to happen. Hence, we're getting really high in our FCI numbers. Very similar story to Steve's Pillar South, same idea. I didn't do the gymnasium or the annex building. Those are even worse, just so you know. Brothers, we've been out to Brothers. It's a great one room classroom. Still in pretty good shape. It's almost 30 years old. They've been doing great maintenance on it. The only thing that's raising this number is the gym. The gym is an old pole barn, just has a concrete floor, has plywood siding, has single pane windows. So this is what's make this for move up, is because the gym needs some help to bring it up to say district standards, let alone school ODE standards throughout the state. Paulina, on the other hand, our other rural school, in decent condition, except for the fact that all the students are in portables. None of the students are actually taught. It was an original 2-classroom school. Those 2 classrooms are used as the office and the library. So all the student educational spaces are in the portables. It's rural. They have gravel out there. So a lot of this is site improvements, looking at paving for parking, paving pathways for accessibility for students to get to playgrounds, updating fields, that kind of items out there. Trying to keep it under 2 minutes, so I'm right.
Great.
All right, Bellevue Community Charter School. So very similar to Paulina in the fact that the majority of students are in the portables. I think Leland, you told me there were 5, now there's 6 portables out there. So that just got updated. Or I need to update that already. Although we've got a number of students in portables, you know, it's at that critical level, but the building itself is in decent shape. Well maintained for a building of almost 100 years. It just doesn't meet those same parameters like a Barnesview Elementary School.
I have an update on Powellview, if you hadn't heard. So, last Thursday, the Powellview School Board voted to rejoin the district. So they've been a charter school since, I think, 2010. They will rejoin and become a district school, just like Barnesview, Crooked River, starting next school year. So we're doing that process, but again, and we've always owned the building, but getting all of Crook County schools back under that umbrella is such a huge priority for us, and it's something we're really excited about, so.
Great update. Oh, it's just making Leland laugh. So I didn't even list it. It's just beyond, I mean, I don't know if you can read this, 111.5% FCI. That kind of speaks for itself, I think. On the flip side, the nutrition warehouse, it's okay, it functions, but it needs some updates. I don't think this would meet ODE standard of a nutritional warehouse, so this is just kind of looking at it the way it is. Garage space used as storage, and the coolers that are outside but have some roof pole barns over them, just to let you know what's going on there. You guys probably haven't visited the nutritional warehouse. It's behind the transportation facility. Hence the buses in the picture. And on that note, going to the transportation facility, getting a lot of, my pie chart got flipped on this one. Its majority is site work because they're asking for, we're in a gravel lot. We don't have fencing. There's no safety protocols, let alone site lighting. So there's a lot of big site improvement items needed out here. And then everybody's favorite Ward Road and Stadium. If you can see it, 247% FCI, so even worse than Leland's facility building. Looking at it, Yes, we did do some structural improvements a couple years ago. Yes, the bleachers got replaced. 10 or
About 10 years ago, yeah.
yeah, years ago. But overall, its functionality is beyond repair at this point. I'm not gonna get into any of the politics and everybody's favorite. That's just what we have on that. So the other half of our facility assessment, so I'm gonna turn it over to Karen for this recap. So we did the observation assessment, and then we also do interviews. Because we don't know everything, like I said, by looking at the facility, so we interview all these different departments, and Karen's gonna give us a recap of what we found out. We did digital interviews and oral interviews.
Exactly. So kind of three basic things that drive physical or facility improvements is, as Heidi's been going over, the physical condition of the buildings. The other is how does it support learning? And the third is capacity. So those are kind of some of the main things. So as Heidi's mentioned, we interviewed department heads. We also did a staff survey. I think we got about 68 different respondents, and so we have that information as well. And so these are some of the things that came up as potential improvements for your consideration. So from kind of looking at learning environments, inadequately sized spaces are inconsistent. I believe here at the middle school, not all the classrooms are really quite the same size or large enough. And the way things are laid out kind of makes some difficulties in the functionality of the school. One of the things is replacing portables is something that can be considered. And I believe many of the portables that were mentioned are double portables, are they not? Some of them have 2 classes per portable. So, you know, the need is even kind of greater than what it may seem. Providing pre-K facilities. Also, what came up is expanding CTE program facilities and making sure that they're appropriately equipped for the programs being offered. And HVAC, so heating and cooling, as well as electrical lighting. And those are also that ODE counts in the educational adequacy, knowing that if there's eye strain from fluorescent lights, or if a student or a staff member isn't comfortable, it makes it hard to learn. And just as an example, I believe at Crooked River, about 80% of the staff said that they experienced what we call thermal discomfort. And I think it was about 86% here at the middle school as an example. Technology was mentioned, and kind of tied to that is safety and security. That's always something people are concerned about. Special education, making sure those special ed classrooms are appropriately equipped and having a nearby bathroom. And transition program, which is the 18 to 21-year-old group. And then physical education spaces, definitely, and that came up in the survey at the beginning, improving the stadium, multi-court gymnasiums to increase efficiency, sports fields, field lighting, kind of extending the use during the day. And then the last one was efficient operations. And so, you know, one potential thing is creating essential support facilities. So maintenance, food, nutrition, warehouse, kind of combining those. So any questions there? That's kind of from the feedback in our, and also our walkthroughs. And then the other one is capacity. And so we just did just a quick check of enrollment changes in the district in the past 7 years. Kind of really looking pre-COVID in 2018, 19, just at the different levels. So looking at the elementary level has continued to grow, and that at a rate of 0.6% per year. So you are continuing to grow. You're probably one of the few districts in the state that is continuing to experience a good bit of growth. And what that means is that potentially there could be, you know, a large number of students that don't have, that may be in portables. Middle school has grown from 608 to 669, so that's about a 1.3% growth per year. And, you know, really kind of getting to that tight spot. And at the high school, 2.2% growth per year. So you've really experienced a lot of growth at the high school level. And then the last one is at Pioneer, which I also found really kind of interesting. New facility has really had a lot of growth, gone from 62 students to 94 students. So a total, kind of looking at the district as a whole, you're growing by about 1.9% per year, which adds up pretty quickly. So, questions there? Okay.
We're gonna turn over to Leland, so, we just gave you 30 minutes of information, about all the facilities. Leland is a guy that every day gets 12 phone calls about something not working. So he knows where our really priority areas are, so we wanted to give a chance to say, here's the top priorities that we believe this district needs, so that you guys have that information in addition to the overall.
So a couple of things when you look through the facilities condition assessments. So those, when architects and consultants come through and do those, they're looking at life cycle of various components of the building, like roofs, boilers, asphalt, all those kind of things. They're looking at the life cycle, right? They're in that building for 2 hours.
Maybe 2 hours.
2 hours. I've been there for 10 years. So the things that I see and that I know about the buildings is, it might be completely different than what you see in those assessments. So for instance, one of the things that one of the architects, the very first thing they asked me when we started this, they're like, what's the roof at the high school like? I'm like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong with the roof at the high school. But if you look at the life cycle of that roof, it's due to be replaced. That's a $20 million roof. So it can go another 10 years. That would be my guess, is that one's good for 10 more years. That's not something we're gonna want. That's not on my top 8. Okay, so that's kind of what this is about, is understanding that what you see documented there could differ from what we really need. Okay. All right, so the top 8. So new roofing systems at Crooked River, Crook County Middle School, Stevens Pillar, Paulina, and the stadium. Those roofs are all well past their life and they need to be replaced.
And I want to ask you a question on that one.
Yeah.
If the stadium is just in disarray all the way across the board, does it make sense to fix the roof on it or just tear it down, start over? And build
That's a decision and we have to.
Okay, that's something we'll work on.
Yeah. And the roof at the stadium is like, most people don't really know there's a roof there. It's under the bleachers. So underneath the bleachers is a full roof system under there. So in order to replace that roof, you have to tear everything out of there, replace the roof and put it down. Boiler upgrades, Crooked River, Crook County Middle School, Powell Butte, and Steens Pillar all have steam boiler systems. So the newest one would be Crooked River and Crooked River's. Here's the one. That was on here. Steens Pillar's original, those buildings, the first building was built in 1935. Powell Butte, the boiler, I believe, was stamped in 1919, something like that. And the middle school's 75 years old. Boilers have a life cycle of 30 years. We've managed to keep them running. And I'm not against steam, because steam's a great way to actually use energy. But the problem is everybody's moved away from steam. And so like getting parts for our boilers, sometimes we have to actually go on eBay and find those in order to replace parts of the boilers. Like right now, Grand Union High School's tearing some of their stuff out, and they had some boiler parts. And they wanted to know if we were interested in them, and we've sent a guy over to salvage parts off some of their boilers so we can bring them over here so we can actually use those parts in our boilers. Now I separated HVAC infrastructure from boiler upgrades because even though it pretty much affects the same schools, there's a lot of difference, and I'll show you some pictures in a minute of some infrastructure stuff that goes on in these systems. But HVAC infrastructure includes all the plumbing, all the coils, it includes controls and changing things that happen in schools like this where when there are like 3 classrooms in this school alone that have 1 thermostat. And trying to control the temperature in those 3 rooms is never gonna happen. There's no way we can make all 3 of those rooms stay the same. They're on opposite sides of the building, they get different sun, and it's just everything about the infrastructure needs to be completely reevaluated and made so that it runs efficiently and effectively. We have places that are not currently on our control system. And I walked into a room today at one of the schools, it's completely unoccupied, and my guess is it wasn't gonna be occupied. And the heat was like 74 degrees and they were running like a champ. But that's because we don't have controls on it. Air conditioning at Crooked River and Crook Valley Middle School, these are the only 2 schools we have that don't have any type of air conditioning. Powell Butte and Steens Pillar do have air conditioning in the classrooms. There's nothing in the hallways, but they do have air conditioning in the classroom right now. Yeah, ma'am.
Do you ever have to shut schools down in the summer because it's too hot?
There was a summer like, what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, the summer
Where
school.
we had to postpone a day of summer school where it was like 115 or something like that. Asphalt replacement. So. We have people ignore parking lots, they don't pay attention to them until they have potholes in them. But I can honestly tell you that at Steensville, if you go out on that playground, that playground is spider webbed so bad, we can't even crack seal it any longer. Needs to be completely ground down and replaced. Crooked Rivers playgrounds are like that, Paulina doesn't have any asphalt. They had a little pad where it was ADA parking, but that's pretty much disintegrated and gone at this point, needs to be replaced. Crooked River, there is an access road that goes back to the stadium and then it goes back behind the high school where we use that back part of Crooked River as a parking lot, and it's not paved. So it's impossible to actually maintain that all winter long. It gets potholes in it. It needs to be paved as well as everything else that needs to be ground down and repaved again. The high school, the fire protection system in that building is, I'm actually planning to replace it this summer, so that's how big a need that is, because we can't get the smoke detectors for it anymore. You cannot get them. They're completely unavailable. The last time we got them, we had to get some that were rebuilt, reconditioned. And the other thing about that system is it's very proprietary. The only company that can work on that system is out of Portland, and Tom's, how many times have you called him, Tom? JC, I don't.
We had a failure this week and I called for 4 hours, 5 times, left messages. I could not speak to anybody. I made a call after lunch and finally got a hold of my first call and got some started. But just to get them over here, it's like $3,000. It's just to diagnose them.
Rush, you just missed me talking about how deficient the fire protection system is.
Since then, Ross, the system has corrected itself.
We're gonna plan on redoing that this summer, though. It's impossible to do with Simplex. Powell Butte is the only school in the district that does not have a secure vestibule. So all the others have secure vestibules, and the plan is, regardless of whether we pass the bond, we're gonna put a secure vestibule on there, and we'll put attack glass in that portalistic thing in it. And then the high school elevator is 30 years old, and we can't get updates and parts for it anymore. So it needs to be completely replaced. I think it was $150,000 just for that. So that's the topic. This is far from, I have a wants and needs list in my computer that has over 300 different items in it. There's a ton of needs in there. These are the top needs. We really have to do these things. There's probably $20 million worth of projects right there. So it gets really expensive when we go there. So I wanted to talk about HVAC and infrastructure real quick. Am I over my time? Good, okay. So this is a coil out of the high school. This is an everyday deal. Don had this laying on the bench out there day before yesterday and I said, hey, I'm gonna take pictures of that so you can see what's going on. So this is a steam coil that was leaking and we usually see a roof leak and we don't know if it's either HVAC or rain because the roof's deficient and the HVAC system's deficient. So what happens is you can see that he cut that chunk of pipe out of there. And you can see the split that happened in that 75-year-old chunk of pipe. That steam, when that steam travels through those lines, it's abrasive. It actually eats away at it, even though we treat our boil water. It still eats at that stuff and degrades it. And it'll split, and then it splits, and then you have a leak. And it happens all the time. I mean, it's not like it's a rare occasion. He's always fixing these, and he brought it in, fixed it up, put it back in. But we can't put a new coil in it because it'd take what, a month, 2 months to get a new coil. Because you have to size it and reorder it. That whole system realistically needs to be completely replaced. We did have, I didn't have a picture, but I was gonna show you a picture of just a union and a pipe that was over here that we thought was a roof leak, because it was, well, if you go on the tour, I'll show you where it was at. In the hallway, it was just pouring water through the roof. And it was a steam leak, and it was a union that there was nothing really wrong with it, other than the fact that the steam had eaten the threads completely out of that union. And it finally just got holes in it where it just started spraying water, spraying steam out of it. So, hey, do you guys have any questions for me? Okay, awesome.
So here's what we're gonna do. We've got about 20 minutes left, and our thought was we give you guys a ton of information on what's coming around now. Christy's gonna pass it out. So we took all your guys' input that you gave earlier in the meeting, got it categorized, and it'll list items like a new middle school, and then it'll say 6. That means 6 people said we need to build a new middle school. So the next step is over the next 20 minutes, and we'll spread paper around. We want you with your group, and we'll bring some paper over there, to look through the list of what everyone said, combine that with Leland's top 8, which is listed on the back page, as well as any information that Heidi or Karen shared. And we want you as your group to come up with what's your top 10, or let's go top 10 to top 15 priority list. So you're gonna top of the team, let's say, hey, I've got kids that do sports. We need a new athletic facility. That's priority number 1. So get together with your group and you can kind of form clusters wherever, and we'll get you papers. Review the list of items, take into account what you heard today, and come up with your top 15 items. Steve, question.
That might be other people thinking the same thing. So Leland's list that he had up there, if I was inclined to say the guy that's doing it every day knows pretty well what needs to be done. You mentioned a couple of them on there that you think you're gonna be able to find money for now.
Yep.
Can you just tell us what those are again real quick? So
the fire protection at the high school and the Pell Butte vestibule.
Okay.
Frank, yeah.
When you mentioned the single pillar, is that referring to the amount of pillar or just?
Yeah.
Pillar?
Really good question.
The
Yeah.
whole campus, so the gym, the annex, the whole thing, yeah.
Any other questions before we let you loose? You can join a group, you can form your own group. You just come up with your top 15. What is your guys' top priority list? All right, go ahead and get started.
Probably replace the elevator.
This will be interesting.
Okay. In space, yeah, common thing. Space. They will keep.
Just got holding and we're. Yeah.
They're also. Yeah.
We're putting this together, so I think we're gonna be the same.
It's a perfect world. Leland Sanger, that's awesome.
Just everywhere, like, you know, really simple.
After that. I have all.
Yes. So we're taking these things.
Leland 6 cents out. I will work it out.
So I know he's over here. Because.
Brainstorming.
I'll get into this in the next step.
Questions or? Me, right?
That's one thing.
Right.
The thing that I said. Doing that, but I think this may look at something.
I would just call it. I think that.
Things they come up with. So everyone's great. You said, Grant County about.
So we also said that. Is there, they're having to get, you know, understand these, all this stuff now, it's kind of this comes to you later, you know. So.
Oh, the building envelope. Yes.
Yeah.
December 1. Yeah, well, yeah, I agree. It's your mission goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to have.
They locked the gates.
Adding on to.
Right.
Yeah.
I think.
I think another thought that actually happened, I should have. I see it.
Right.
Just because you have It's not even for me to property. And I'm like.
Right.
Right. So you do realize there's, well, Sure.
Yes. So for me, right, so it's like, and girls are those like, retirees. So everybody needs a, all their guys and I hate that. So. Right. I don't know, I have to be honest, what's the risk? Yeah.
You can make it not to affect those players. There's got to be some kind of service. You have to get to have this all around. It's not even it's about, it's an athletic field. There's like, so that's pretty soon.
Exactly. I didn't want to. By yourself.
No, I'm listening to the presentation, like it sounds like the bar system.
Yeah.
It's just- Yeah. But, and they. We have to have. Our own. You have to.
Yes.
Project. Right now, it's. That's what needs to happen. Carry on. Stop interrupting.
Well, and I thought, we should, all this data is like that.
I mean, I think this one.
So within much better. I know what. That's something, so like, I think that's why there's like.
It's switched.
And separate structures and then. It's like.
But I guess that should be.
Right, about 10 minutes to get your list going, 10 minutes. Also why you could. That's already. Parent. Broader through. Like that.
That's like, correct. Baseball fields, that would.
We're gonna take an out.
Somebody's was able to say, no, we're great. We got off the back. There was a few issues.
Our numbers. Right.
10 minutes. I trust you. I trust you completely. Just a general, when those overachieving kids, you just gotta make sure to keep them up.
And then this one.
You also have those.
I would say.
We need to write them on. Are we supposed to write them on here? Or can we just give you our sheet labor responsibility?
He's gonna go out and share it out there.
It's not we're overachieving, we're kind of underachieving. Right? Well, I think that. Right. We're staying late. That's right.
Exactly.
You're ready.
Hey, we're done. Time to spare.
Can we just leave it on the list though? We're not, we're going.
You know, again, you want to be overachievers, other people are writing it.
What I just said, I said he called us overachievers, we're kind of underachieving.
You know, you got some bonus time, you got a good 6 minutes. Which I really respect, so. Saving money.
No, we can do that. I usually do it all three. Yeah.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
This is when parent goes it's pulled together.
Yeah, man, should have never been in that spot in the first place. And, you know, I've recognized the big responsibility for that. We're working it. I think you got a really good, Tasha was great. I think you got a really good person in there. Good. Perfect. But yeah, you guys, you would have been. Yeah, that's all.
It worked great.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I thought it was a good day.
It was a great day, so I missed you at the end of it, I was looking for you. Just wanted to say thank you.
Well, yeah, I appreciate you.
Thank you for being here too. Yeah.
So I.
We have two. Yeah, we've got.
Well.
Sandbag, actually.
It's a lot of really good things. What we need to do is, we need to standardize that across. You're hopefully going to. That part, now we've got just please give the answer. It would be nice to just have small. That's good. That would be me, exactly, and about a year. The other day, we go over, been around. Grab that, exterior and interior, around this. I know this. Right about 4 minutes.
That's a long.
You know, somebody just gotta see this.
Right.
There's a light, just get a single spotlight.
Put that down.
I need to wear this. This is it.
It's the list. So Eric development, AI survey, it's your list to the back.
Yeah, stick on for 9 minutes. 9 minutes.
The big game.
11 minutes.
Yeah, not good.
Well, for me, I was some grief, I guess, we did, you do it. Yeah, so, I thought everything on it except the shit. Or not, that we I really got it up. I do know. Yeah.
My radar, how would I understand?
Yeah. I could get my radio.
That's what we're trying. We're figuring it all out.
It doesn't have to be perfect. 1 minute.
Yeah, I guess you don't know how to take care of that.
All right. So we know that you did not have enough time. The good news is we're gonna have lots of meetings. So we're gonna keep developing this list as we move on. We want to do a quick share out. So I'm gonna start over here with Mr. Uppen. You could just share your top 10 or so. That'd be awesome.
All right, starting on the top of the list was Leland's 8, which was actually 6. So obviously, he's the expert. We wanna, in a perfect world, check those off the list. And then from there, we have the fire chief here, so he's like upgraded safety at all sites. And these kind of play back and forth with each other because upgraded athletic facilities could mean better safe facilities as well. So upgraded safety, modernize some of the systems in the buildings, the fire systems and camera surveillance systems. Eric had good ideas on that. Upgrade athletic facilities, so lighting all the outdoor fields, the soccer fields, the baseball fields, that helps with like scheduling of games a little more, you know, it kind of diversifies our ability to kind of schedule games later. Parking to increase accessibility, and maybe that might calm some people down when we're parking in front of their houses and stuff for big games. Then we got into, you know, athletic facilities, gym space and team rooms. If you go to the high school, there's team rooms there. We host a big 6-pack game. There's girls going into the boys' locker room and boys going to the girls' locker room to try to accommodate. There's girls' teams with male coaches and so on and so forth. So to have some more space and a little more versatility where people can go, that would be good. New high school, why are you back there? New high school, new high school, that, and then the middle school moves to the current high school. That kind of takes care of a lot of the problems from the previous mentioned list. Gotta be thinking about the athletic facilities too, with increase in sports offerings. So we have like women's wrestling, we have women's football, we have boys volleyball, we have, we're offering more and more and more and more. And then, so we have to think about Title IX with that. Students that blow out in the elementary school, and they have spaces for them to regulate. So that's kind of the list we came up with.
Okay, let's give Jake Huffman a round of applause. Hey, Coach Ryan Cochran, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Can you share your guys' list real quickly?
You bet. So we had just a lot of discussions of, obviously you put money in a lot of different directions, but, if you put lipstick on a pig, it's still big. And so having that ability to put a new roof on it and it's still 70 years underneath it and we still have all the problems. And so our focus was obviously, we got two major ones with the elementary and a middle school. So create some way to do a new elementary school or build a new high school and move the middle school. That was our number one. Obviously updated athletic complexes. That's a big thing for our community. Boilers, every time I've heard anything, boilers are a problem everywhere in our district, so, that's up there. Getting climate control, AC indoor buildings that don't have it, that's a big issue, and I know it's, in September this year in this building, it was 93, 94 degrees in a classroom, and that doesn't equate to learning, so, that was on there. If those other things, obviously roof repairs, CTE space, school safety, asphalt maintenance was our number 8, outdoor lighting and safety. And then, obviously transport facility, upgrading that, as we get more kids. So,
Hey, how about Ryan Cochran? Renee Tooley, I'm so sorry. Would you be able to share? Oh, what, Doug Steps. Doug Smith.
So our number one thing was roofs, right? If you don't have roofs, you don't have buildings, and buildings deteriorate quicker with more roofs than anything else. We also believe that the boilers, HVAC and control systems need to be upgraded. And that was really like one item. Classroom space, ground for growth, right? And I think that you could start trying to wrap in, well, we need it here, we need it here. I think the data is going to lead us to where you need it. And we didn't have that data to start saying, well, we need this building or we need that building. Sports complex. We believe that whatever we do, we're 2 or 3 gyms short. We're wrestling room short. We need to take the rest. We've got to rethink the locker room space at the high school. And we also need to incorporate that into what do we do for what do we do for a stadium? Because right now, Ward Roden was built in 72 or 3, because I never got to play in it, but they did the year after I graduated. And but the point is, we need a middle school track. We don't have one. We need a middle school football field. We really don't have one. And the answer may be to rethink what's at Ward Roden and take what we need from it and then find a facility someplace else. And so with that, we also said that this piece includes finding ground. Because if you go around the urban growth boundary in Cook County, and I did this when I was on the school board, the problem is that Barnes Butte, the ground we own on Barnes Butte, doesn't have sewer and water at it. And I've seen estimates on how much it's going to cost to get sewer and water there. The second thing is go drive Northeast Barnes Road and envision 200 kids walking to school or a bunch of bikes on that road going to school. And it has no shoulders, and it has, I think, probably a 20-foot wide bridge across an irrigation canal. So there's a lot of infrastructure that would be required to put a school on our property. The other thing is, the other properties that we had identified are now supporting apartment complexes. which are gonna have the opposite. New maintenance facility, we need to rethink maintenance, right? Ideally, something down here in the center of where our schools are at. I think that you need to think about that when we go to the bus barn, right? Is, yeah, if you live out where I do, you watch those buses stop at this railroad track, drive up to this railroad track, turn right, then here's another bus coming out, he's stopping on the same railroad tracks, right, 2 or 3 or 4 times a day. There would be a huge advantage to having that bus barn be closer. Steensville Gym and Facility, Pound View School. Traffic needs to be figured out at both places. And I don't know whether you roof them or replace them. Right, but I think you have to keep your mind open as you go into this, that probably there's going to have to be some replacement done. You can't fix I don't think you can fix the modulars in Powell Butte anymore. And I don't know how much more money you put into a landlocked Steensville. Stadium I touched on, and tech.
Well, I feel, we just need to get, all right, he is good. Well, part of that, I'm not the expert there, we have an expert, and I'm on board with Eric's plans moving forward.
It would be ideal if tech and maintenance and the bus barn could all be in one building at this end of town.
Awesome. Hey, let's give it up for Doug Smith. We got 2 groups left. Jen is definitely pointing to Rocky Minor. So Rocky, you want to share your list real quick?
We grouped some things together. And I know that everybody knows this, but I still want to say it. When you start building new buildings, elementary, middle school, that we all know we need, it creates a more positive culture for not only for your kids, but for your community. And that's something I hope we all want for our community. And the other thing is, when we talk about facilities, is more opportunities for our kids to get involved that we want. So we have, number one, we like that idea of a new high school and moving the middle school to the high school. This is like a good idea for us. We need a new elementary school. I mean, 75 to 100 years old. That has to be part of our vision as we're looking at it. And then just we did a big grouping together of the athletic facilities. The stadium, the expansion of, we need more gym space. And one of my biases, I told these ladies, when you're with basketball and you're teaching kindergarten, first, second, third, fourth, if all they have is a 10-foot hoop and they're going like this, you're not teaching the good form. When we put in new gyms, we need them to have the just hoops like form. Just have to go over pizza since I have a kindergarten and second grade. CTV, I mean, that we need to grow that in our community, and I think our community would love that. And then we put as number 5, a great big group, and you guys will prioritize this, but Leland's list. I mean,
Hey, does it get better than Rocky Minor? Steve, you want to share?
All right, so for us, I think the conversation started off very easy. It's, I've had enough meetings with Leland to know that he knows what he's talking about. I mean, he's the one that deals with it every day, so we made that our top 6, since 2 of the projects are already gonna be underway. Then we kind of start focusing more on academics and, the new middle school or middle school repairs, new elementary school, whatever it takes for the schools to get what they need so that we can have the right places for academics. And then we start talking about the athletics, and athletics in this community is not just a school district problem. It's not just a Parks and Recreation District problem. It is the entire community problem. And it's something that we should all be coming together and working together to come up with some resolution to. I mean, we're just under in space as a whole, whether that be indoor gym space or outdoor athletic space. And so when we labeled athletic facilities in general, the gym, the weight room, the field space, a new stadium, and then new, more increased gym space. And then to round out our list, we included the CTE space and safety for all schools. And then the last item we put was the ground for future growth. to try and address these needs.
Hey, let's give it up for Steve. So that's the meat of this meeting. So first and foremost, thank you. Thank you. I know a lot of you have kids, grandkids. Thank you for taking time to helping out the school district and helping us plan. It means a lot. So we're gonna continue to develop these potential facilities idea. I'm gonna stress out our architects and my team the same. We're gonna try to cost out what all these ideas ballpark, what these would cost, just to get up, see, a little stressed out. We got AI, it makes it easy. We wanna start putting dollar figures on what is this dream and what does that cost? We're also gonna look at some really detailed enrollment information in the coming meetings. So our next meeting is January 7th at our Steens Pillar Library. We're gonna continue to develop these ideas. It'd be awesome if you're able to make it. If you've registered through our link, our dear friend Tammy will be sending reminders, calendar invites, so look for that. If you haven't registered, make sure you can, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, just email me and I'll get you that link. We do have if you've never had a Kirk County Middle School tour, some of you, I think Doug has his name carved in the bleachers, but if you've never had a tour, Leland's able to give a tour here, and if you're good and you've seen all the middle school you need to see, that is it for tonight, and thank you, and I hope you join us January 7th. Any questions? All right, guys, thanks so much. To approve the minutes from our last official meeting, we're recording. So we can do a roll call vote. Jen, do you approve the minutes?
Yes.
Anna Logan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And I'm a yes.
oh, I was gonna say that, but I thought maybe.
I'm used to running after. So I would entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from last meeting.
I second it.
Discussion? With that in mind, we'll do a roll call vote. Jen Knight,
Yes, I approve the minutes.
Anna Logan.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Leland Bliss, Joel Hoffman, yes.
Kevin Redley. Are you adjourned?
With that, we can officially adjourn this meeting of the facilities committee at 5:33.